Hey everyone, it's Daniel here. Before we get into today's episode, just want to give you a quick reminder that I will be hosting a giveaway for the podcast soon. The podcast is turning one in June. It's turning one in June on June the 13th, and I'm excited to do a giveaway to celebrate the 1 year anniversary of the show. I did a short episode about the giveaway, detailing everything, and there'll also be some details in the description of today's episode about the giveaway. But just to quickly give you some details about how you can enter and what it's for, I'm partnering with the Isaiah 117 House for this giveaway. If you are not aware, the Isaiah 117 House is a Tennessee-based nonprofit organization that provides physical and emotional support in a safe and loving home for children awaiting foster care placement. They have locations all across the Southeast United States, and they're a really, really great organization, and so I'm excited to have this opportunity to partner with them. If you want to enter the giveaway, all you have to do is make a donation to the Isaiah 117 House through Venmo. You can make your donation in $5 increments. So if you make a $5 donation, that will be one submission into the giveaway. A $10 donation will be two submissions, and so on and so forth. The winner of the giveaway will be announced on Monday, June the 12th, and they will receive the first ever Radio Face t-shirt, the first ever Radio Face sticker, and a $50 Visa gift card, all given to you, shipped straight to you. So again, you can make as many entries as you like. All proceeds will go directly to the Isaiah 117 House. None of this will be coming back to me, so I really hope you take this opportunity to support this great organization, all the great work they're doing. If you don't have, to make a donation, you'll need to do it through Venmo. So if you don't have a Venmo account, you can download it for free on your phone, hook up your bank account, and then make a donation to the Chambliss Center, which handles all the finances for the Isaiah 117 House. The handle for the Chambliss Center on Venmo is at ChamblissCenter. That's where you can find them on Venmo. And whenever you make this donation to enter the giveaway, just make a note with your donation, just distinguishing that this is for the giveaway. So you can make a note saying Radio Face Podcast. You can make a note that just says podcast. You can make a note that says giveaway, anything along those lines that denotes that you are making this donation to the Isaiah 117 House for this giveaway. As I said, the winner will be announced on Monday, June the 12th, so you've got a lot of time to enter this giveaway, and I'm really excited to partner with the Isaiah 117 House and raise some money for a great cause. Thank you all for all the support you've given me over this year so far, and I'm excited for year number 2. Thank you for the Isaiah 117 House for partnering with me, and I'm really excited to take this opportunity to help out a great organization. There'll be some more details about this down in the description, so if you'd like to learn more, head down there to the description, check everything out down there for more details, and if you have any questions about the giveaway, feel free to reach out to me on social media at radiofacepod on all social media platforms, or simply go to... or simply email me at radiofacepod@gmail.com with any questions you have about the show or about the giveaway. Thank you again for all your support, and now let's jump into the episode. Hey there, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the podcast. My name is Daniel Trinham, and I will be your host as always. Before we get started with today's episode, I want to let you know of a few things of note. First, you may or may not be aware that I host another podcast called The Third Seat. The Third Seat is unrelated to the podcast you are listening to right now, but if you'd like to check it out, then I will put a link in the description of today's episode that you can use to listen to it. If you like this podcast, then I really think you will like The Third Seat as well, so I highly recommend you check it out. Next, I want to let you know of a few ways you can support the podcast. First, be sure to tell a friend if you enjoy the show. Word of mouth is not only a great way to help support the show, but it's also zero cost. Secondly, if you enjoyed today's episode, then be sure to leave a 5-star review wherever you get your podcasts. Leaving a positive review is one of the best ways of not only supporting the show, but it also gives me direct feedback from you regarding how you feel about the show overall. I greatly appreciate if you decide to take the time to support the show in any of these ways. Finally, if you'd like to follow me or the show on social media, then feel free to check out the description of today's episode. Here you will find all affiliated and mentioned links, as well as how you can support the show online. As always, I want to thank you for tuning into and supporting the show. It really means a lot to me, and I hope you enjoyed today's episode as much as I enjoyed making it for you. All right, everyone, welcome back to another episode of the podcast. My name is Daniel Trinham. I will be your host for this episode as always, and I'm excited to bring you all today's episode. Today is actually the kind of a special episode. It's the first Well, most episodes I've done in the past, most of them have been 2-person interviews. They've been me and someone else. Sometimes it's just been me. But today, I actually have the privilege of having 2 people on the show with me today. So I'm really excited to have McKenzie and Lauran here with me today. So would you all care to introduce yourselves?
Hi, I'm McKenzie. And I'm Lauran.
And so would you care to just share a little bit about, and obviously I know I've looked into kind of you all and what you do, but just a little bit about yourselves and just your backstory and what it is you currently do?
Yeah, for sure. So I'm Lauran, and I'm the clinic director and the head of nutrition here at Sage Aesthetics and Wellbeing. So basically what we do at Sage is we have the aesthetic side of it and the wellness side. So I kind of oversee the clinic and the wellness side of things. So a little bit of my background is I have my degree in nutrition. So, I've had many like health things I've gone through, and that kind of led me to natural health. So that's kind of where the wellness side here takes place. So we truly believe here that like food is medicine. So all of our principles are that we can heal our bodies with food, exercise, supplementation, giving it different things it needs. So we can talk a little bit about that later, but I've just kind of developed the natural health side of things. And then I also have, a lot of my knowledge in like aesthetics too, just from doing treatments myself, learning from McKenzie and stuff like that. So that's kind of where I just kind of oversee the clinic.
Yeah, and then I'm McKenzie, and I'm the lead physician assistant here at Sage. I have my master's degree in physician assistant studies, and right after school, I went straight into the aesthetics world, and that's where I found my passion for skincare, all things aesthetics, and obviously me and Lauran have been best friends for like 10 years now, and we kind of were like, wait, we need to do something together, and so that's where we kind of came up with the idea of, bonding each other in our love for aesthetics and well-being.
So you've known each other before you worked here, is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so I didn't know that because that's really cool. So correct me. Well, first off, you all recently like started here, is that correct? Like my understanding is may have been last month or maybe it was this month. Is that correct?
Yeah. So this is like our first real month open. Yeah. We kind of did like a soft opening in February just to kind of figure things out, get the flow of things, like figure out what the heck we're doing. Yeah. But like our grand opening was March 25th. So about a month ago. Exactly. So April is what we said is like our first real month. So it's been amazing.
So how are you all feeling now? Like now that you're officially a month into it, you're, running the show, like you've done the soft launch, but now you're full head over heels into it. Like, what are your thoughts now that you're a month removed from the start date?
I mean, it's been so fun. We love it. And we're just excited to see it grow because it's already been such an adventure in the first month.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's just so surreal, like seeing, like we've planned, like we made everything like Sage. So
I feel like we manifested.
Yeah.
But like just seeing it like actually come to life. Yeah. It's just like, it's such an amazing feeling seeing like everything we ever envisioned and talked about and dreamed about and kind of like brainstormed a couple years ago actually happen.
Yeah.
It's just an amazing feeling.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I talked to someone one time. They had started a business and they were coming up on the 2-year anniversary of it. And I'm not a business owner. And so I always like to ask people that have started a business or gone into any kind of business, like what their thoughts are. And they described it as like learning from a fire hose. Like it's just a fire hose of information, just so much stuff coming at you. Like you're excited to learn and do the thing that you want to do, but it's just so many things happening. Does that ring true to you all in any way at all?
Yeah, we're not business girls at all. I mean, we like have our degrees in nutrition and she's a PA. So like learning the business side, I remember it's so embarrassing, but like one of our first Zooms while like getting software and all of that, like the guy was talking about SEO and we were like texting each other, like, what the heck is SEO? Like we had no clue. And we were just like nodding our heads on the Zoom call, like texting each other.
Yeah.
Listen, I'll be honest. Like, so if you're listening and you don't know what SEO is, it stands for search engine optimization. And I'll be honest, I didn't know what that meant either. Like, and I'm a child of the internet. Like I'm supposed to be the one that knows all these things. And I didn't really know what that meant either until I'll say maybe a year ago, whenever someone found it.
On the same wavelength.
Yeah. Well, eventually someone was like, the search engine optimization. And I was like, oh,
You're like SEO.
That makes so much more sense now. I get it. So I'm right there with you. It's funny how like we as individuals a lot of times will just kind of be like, I get what you're saying, and in the back of my like, I don't know what's going on right now.
Like, we have no clue, but we're just gonna roll with it and nod our head, and we'll Google it later.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But I feel like it's been kind of just a learning curve. Like there's just so much that goes into a business,
and we have people behind us that that back us up and have the knowledge and wisdom. So
that's awesome. That's awesome. So something I particularly want to talk to you all, I want to kind of pick the different, areas of expertise that you all have, but something I am particularly interested in and have definitely been interested in the past, I guess I'll say 2 or 3 years is kind of what you alluded to a little bit, is kind of like food as medicine. And I think that we kind of collectively are starting to enter a point where that's become a little bit of like a buzzword. Like people like to say, oh yeah, food is medicine and like wellness. And we should, instead of going to the doctor, you should eat a kale smoothie or something, like whatever. And I think we're starting to get to that point where there can be some gray area in it. Not in the sense that there's not hard facts, but you can find people online that are like, hey, if you just take this little thing, then you'll be good to go. All your problems will be fixed and you'll just be right on track. Yeah. And I wanted to talk to you all just kind of what your all's thoughts are on your industry, if that makes sense. I know there's a lot of gray area and there's a lot of, for lack of better words, I guess, snake oil salesmen, where a lot of people will, this is a business, like there's money to be made and there's things to, there's money to be made and people to learn from and talk to. And I think it can be very interesting to kind of parse through what is real and what's not, what's worth your time and what's not. So from your all's standpoint, do you encounter any of that at all? Like, do you see people coming in with, kind of misconceptions about what you all do or what you all offer to an extent?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Everyone. Yeah.
What's huge in our aesthetic well-being industry right now, like in a med spa space, is like Ozempic or semaglutide. Have you heard about any of that?
Well, it's funny you mentioned Ozempic. So flashback here for me. I used to work at a pharmacy and worked there for about 3 years. And I would work up at the front and we had a TV right off to the left and I could hear everything that it play, every commercial. And the Ozempic commercials, like I know what it is, but the Ozempic commercial would come on all the time and it'd be like, like that was the kind of commercial. Oh my God. And like every time I see it or I hear it, that song just comes in my head. I'm like, oh, Ozempic. Yeah. I know the little jingle, but yes, I know what Ozempic is. And that's kind of the extent of it.
From your history, you probably know it's a diabetes medication, right?
Yes.
But now like med spas are offering it for like rapid weight loss, or they're compounding it into like semaglutide.
Yeah. It's a huge fad right now. Like everyone is wanting to be on Ozempic.
Yeah. I mean, it makes you lose weight really quickly. Yeah. But that's why we're so different here, is because I told a patient the other day, I'm like, if you want to like lose 20 pounds, like we're not the place for you, like in a month, we actually care about people's actual health and the future of their health, or longevity. So the way we do wellness here is, I teach people how to eat whole foods. That's really the simplicity of it, is eat real foods, eat plants, animals, everything from the earth, and that will get you in a really good spot health-wise. But I mean, we were doing so much research, and McKenzie as a PA, she has history in like the medically assisted weight loss of it all. And she's seen a lot with that too, but the class drugs. And we were just like, we were doing our own research on Ozempic and semaglutide, seeing if we even wanted that to be an offering here for, people that were severely overweight, getting them like a jump start. But I mean, just the research we've done, it's directly linked to like thyroid cancer and different things like that. And we were
both side effects are horrible.
Yeah. I mean, she had a patient the other day that is on Ozempic and was just throwing up and so sick.
Mid-treatment.
Mid-treatment.
And I'm like, this is not healthy.
Yeah. So people are sick for days, they're super nauseous, they can't eat. And, we just wouldn't feel right knowing the side effects, knowing that in 10 years, if someone gets thyroid cancer, was it from us prescribing Ozempic? We don't know. And we don't want to have that on our conscience because we truly care about our patients. We're not in it for the money.
Because you can make a lot of money on Ozempic. I mean, that's literally where it's at right now. And we choose not to because we're like, ethically, we can't do that.
Yeah. And you know, obviously I'm speaking from a standpoint of like, I know the jingle for Ozempic and that's about it. But like, is this something specifically with Ozempic, is it something that it's always been, I know it's primarily a diabetes medication, but has it always been used kind of on the side as also a weight loss medication? Or is this something recently where people were like, oh, it's primarily a diabetes medication, but you can also use it in this different way? Like, is it more of a recent thing, or has this always kind of been part of its history?
It became a fad when like everyone was like Kim Kardashian and
like
Khloe
celebrities,
Kardashian, like celebrities
talk about it.
Okay,
or,
see, I didn't know about that.
They got their they all dropped the weight, and so it's been like the last year that it's
everyone's just like, how did people lose so much weight? And like Elon Musk was on it, and like everyone was like, how did he lose all the weight? And now it's like starting to be talked about more and more. I mean, there's other like names for it, like Mounjaro and Wegovy, that have been in like the weight loss industry that are like compounds of like semaglutide is like the generic name for it. But I feel like recently now it's just like so common, like it's a common household like weight loss drug. And I mean, it's all over Instagram, TikTok, all of that. So it's been pretty popular lately.
You know, and it's, excuse me. It's I'm glad you brought this up, because I really didn't know that Ozempic was being used like this. But you know, I think that a lot of people now, and there's many factors for this, but part of what you alluded to was we see it all the time, like on social media. It's like, this person, they look like this, and then all of a sudden, like, wow, they're just, you know, they just have this great figure, and how did they do it? And the secret, we may never know. And you know, certainly, like I'm definitely an advocate. Like, however you need to get healthy, like do that. I'm not one of those people that's like, oh, if you're not like out, you know, running sprints every single day, like you just didn't do it correctly. Like, however you need to lose weight, get healthy, do it. Like the healthier people are, I'm happy for that to happen. But I think a lot of times some of the things you all talked about don't really get brought up. I know from personal experience, like growing up, I had a really, really bad relationship with food, and bad in the sense that I loved it. And it was like, you know, I would eat like pizza rolls and, you know, sweet tarts for dinner. Like that was that was just the
most
way
of
I grew
our
up.
childhood diet.
And you know, there's a time and a place. Like, I'm not saying you can't ever have pizza rolls or sweet tarts, but growing, like, you know, I got older, I became an adult, and like my relationship to food and the things I consumed, it was centered around the things that it shouldn't have been centered around. And I know from personal experience, like if I had suddenly had, you know, X amount of pounds just gone all of a sudden, it would have been a struggle for me to actually live a healthier life consistently, because yes, I may have lost 30, 40 pounds, whatever, but my habits and actions, they're still rooted in the person I was before. And I think that doesn't tend to get brought up, because like, you know, like you said, we'll see Kim Kardashian or somebody and they'll just have this great transformation and like, wow, they must be living this great and healthy life. But what you might not see behind the scenes is kind of what's going on up here, what's going on in their head, their relationship with their loved ones, their relationship with food, the habits they have. They may be 15, 20, 30 pounds lighter, but are they actually living a more fulfilled and healthy life? That's kind of where it gets a little dicey, you know?
Right. Yeah. And it's like, where's their mental state going to be once they get off of that? And they gain all that weight inevitably, you know? And that's just kind of where we're like, we kind of draw the line, and we're like, okay, we can't do that, because we want long-term goals and results for our patients, and just them to feel their best. And obviously on that, you're not feeling your best.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's honestly just education. By Lauran taking the time, even if it's 30 minutes to an hour, whatever she's doing, to actually talk to the patient, figure out what they're eating, and go through things and educate them on what they're eating and what's better options and organic supplements and doing things like that. It really helps their patient, you know, our patients, and they're like so mind blown and just like so thankful.
We build that relationship with them where it's like they know we're here to support them. And I mean, it just goes back to like, we're so passionate about what we do here. It's not about the money. We actually truly care about our patients, and we want them to be like our family. You know, we would always want the best for our families.
Yeah. So that's our main values is, I mean, beauty from within and just exuding that confidence from feeling healthy to, you know, enhancing with some aesthetic treatments, but like building that confidence and really starting from within.
Yeah. Yeah. And I want to ask you in just a little bit about kind of the aesthetics world, because that's something that I have only learned about recently. Like, I didn't even know that was I knew the word aesthetic existed.
Yeah.
I knew there was like a business behind it.
Oh,
But
yeah.
before we kind of jump into that, something I do want to ask about is, and like I 100% agree with everything you all have been saying. And I think, you ask any person on the street, healthy, unhealthy, whatever, like all of them are going to probably say, yeah, I want to live healthy. Like I want to eat foods that sustain me and will allow me to live a long and healthy and fulfilling life. But sometimes it can be like, you walk into Walmart or wherever and like, where do you start? I mean, there's 30 aisles of things, and it's like you ask one person, it's like, should I eat eggs? Should I not eat eggs? One person's like, yeah, do it every day. And the other person's like, don't even look at an egg. Like you'll never, you won't make it out of the store if you even think about it. So my question for you all is, and obviously like nutrition and wellness, it's going to differ from person to person. There's no like cookie cutter, if you just do this thing every day, it's going to work for every person. But generally speaking, what are some tangible ways people can actually like take these steps on their own that aren't going to, obviously if they need professional help like what you all do, then certainly come and get it. But what are some tangible ways people can actually implement in their life like today to start living a more healthy and fulfilled life, in your all's opinion?
Right. I mean, it would be to just limit processed food. So anything packaged in the store, even if it's labeled, natural, healthy, all of that, just limit that as much as possible. That's typically filled with so much just extra like inflammatory oils, added sugar, stuff like that. So, if we could just limit the packaged stuff, that would be amazing. And then just try and eat a whole foods diet. I try and make it as simple as possible for everyone, where I just tell them, look, like if God created it, eat it, and it's like, obviously, like you said before, none of us are perfect. I still, have my slip ups and enjoy certain foods. But for the most part, I try and keep in mind, if it's meat, it's grass fed, it's great meat, eat it. If it's a great vegetable from the ground, eat it. If it's a fruit, eat it. There's just so many things, like you said, on the internet. But if we could just simplify it and just, if it's, natural whole food, eat it. So that's really as simple as it gets for me.
Yeah.
And it's kind of funny. And I was thinking about this one day, like I saw someone online, and at first I was like, I don't know if I necessarily think that's the best way, but someone was like, if you want to lose weight, here's the best diet for you. Go with the one ingredient diet. So that means if you go to the store and anything has more than one ingredient, you can't get it. And I was like, I don't know if like, and I understood what they were saying. They were like, you go and get an apple, the ingredient is apple, and you go and get like an egg and the ingredient is egg. And, if the point was, like you were saying, if there's anything that has like tons and tons and tons and tons of ingredients that are, 17 letters long and you don't know what they are, it's like, maybe you should stay away from those,
Right. Yeah.
And I think to a degree there is some kind of validity. And I think there's, some good advice in there. Like, again, not that you can't ever have a bag of chips or you can't ever enjoy anything. Like my birthday just came around and like I had, cake and ice cream.
Yeah,
like
of course.
I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can't, it's not that you can't ever enjoy anything,
Right.
but the foundation of your diet and the things you do and the things you consume, it's recommended. It should be built on things that are going to sustain you and not, a bag of puffy Cheetos or something.
Right. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what we believe.
And I mean, it took us a long time. I mean, Lauran started getting healthier like a lot faster than me. But I mean, I took on those practices about 2 years ago and really changed my lifestyle, like just watching her. And it's like changed my life.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm so much I feel so much better, so much more energized, and just really doing the whole foods diet.
Yeah.
Which is not even a diet. It's
It's just literally,
eating,
that's what we always
you
tell
know?
people. Like, I'm not going to write you a diet. I'm not going to make you count macros, anything like that.
calories.
I'm just going to, give you some certain swaps, encourage certain things, give you like achievable goals. To make it easy just to eat a regular whole food diet.
Yeah. And I think also too, I think that not to be too much of that guy, but I think that like there is some good kind of some self-awareness around the word diet is also welcome as well. Because I know a lot of, like myself included, I'd be like, oh, I want to get healthier. I want to lose 5 or 10 pounds, whatever. It's like, oh, I'm going to go on this diet or that diet. And although like I understand the sentiment coming to that, like you want to make a change to be healthier, a lot of times the view on that is, oh, I'm going to do this thing for 4 or 5, 6, 7 or 8 weeks, and then I'll be healthier, and then I'll stop doing that thing, and then I'll be good. But a lot of times, in my opinion, that's not sustainable. If you're wanting to make a healthy choice, it should be something you on paper can do for the rest of your life. Like I don't want to just, if it's something good for me, I don't want to just say, yeah, I'll do it for 4 weeks and then I'll never do it ever again. You want to have a diet, quote unquote. I like to think of it more of like a nutrition plan or just the food you eat. Like it's not some kind of plan necessarily. It's just the food you eat, the fuel you put in your body. It should be something that you can theoretically use and utilize and eat for the rest of your life or a long time. You don't want to just have something that's like, yeah, I'm going to do this diet for 4 weeks and then I'll never touch it ever again, because what benefit is that really?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's just second nature to us now, the foods we eat. It's like,
your taste buds change.
Yeah.
Like all of a sudden you're craving broccoli. It's really
seriously,
weird.
like you want your body wants the nutrients. And I feel like you just know how good you feel and you just don't want to feel bad. And it's like when you do eat those foods, you kind of are like, dang, like I have the brain fog or I'm nauseous, and you're like, wow, that like really puts it into perspective, like how optimal you could be feeling. And that's why now it's like, I don't even reach for bad foods. I mean, like everyone says like the 80-20, but I feel like I'm honestly like 95-5 just because I don't want the other foods. And it just happens like that.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't strict. Like,
it becomes a part of who you are.
Right.
Like, I definitely don't think like it's a good, if you're listening to this and you have like a terrible diet, whatever, if you feel like you have a terrible diet, like I wouldn't recommend going chicken, broccoli, and rice tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely not.
You're probably not going to stick to it.
Right.
But like finding a way to sustainability is the key for me. You want to find a way where you can do it for a long time. If you don't just want to be like, I'm just gonna drink spinach smoothies for the rest of my life. That's the only way. Like, no one wants to do that. So
I think I just started finding like foods I liked and then incorporating it, even though I would still like, I would grab a chip or like, do something. Yeah. But like I just started incorporating the healthier foods like once a day or twice a day. And then it started building up. And I felt like that's how I started.
Yeah. Like, and I feel like you started having fun with cooking. Like you would find health, like recipes you loved, like of certain foods you loved and making them. And I feel like you started having fun with that. And that's when I kind of saw the shift in your eating.
Oh yeah. Meal prepping really changed it for me and doing Paleo Running Mama. Shout out. That really helped me.
Yeah. You love her recipe.
I learned how to cook from that website.
Yeah. And you just got to have fun with it. I mean, healthy foods don't have to be like just chicken, broccoli, and rice. Exactly. You can have fun with it. There's so many recipes on the internet now. Like there's TikTok, no reason why you should be anything like boring, healthy foods.
Yeah. They're good.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So, and honestly, this is something like I really enjoy talking about, but I want to change it a little bit. So I admittedly, like I said, I know very little. I mean, well, you all are definitely the experts in this room. There's 3 of us in here and it's not me. That's the expert in here, but specifically in the kind of aesthetics world, I know very little about it. I know some people that personally, I know some people that kind of work in this business and kind of, that's, some people even my age that are kind of starting their own businesses, but like, I don't really, aside from the fact that I feel like it's a good idea to like wash your face generally, like, I'll hear people all the time be like, oh, you need to do this thing, or if you're not applying to this thing, then you're just gonna look like an old baseball in the future. And I'm just like, I don't know any, like, I just don't know anything about it. So what in normal layman's terms, for someone like me who knows very little about what it is that you do, can you kind of break it down a little bit for me, if that makes sense? And it doesn't have to necessarily be like the day to day, but just kind of like what role do you play? If that makes sense.
Yeah. So basically, we have different machines. So we have our Cyton BBL.
I do want to ask you about that. I saw that online. I do want to ask you about that.
Yeah. So that's our broadband light. So that's a treatment that helps with like hyperpigmentation, sunspots, rosacea, acne. It just clears the skin. It makes it gorgeous, youthful, and it's just anti-aging benefits from the BBL. We have Moxie lasers that also help with melasma, pre-rejuvenation, and just helping get that great skin. We do fillers, so hyaluronic acid fillers. So that's for like natural enhancements to lips, cheeks, whatever,
volume loss.
Volume loss. We do Xeomin and Botox. So that's neuromodulators that relax the muscles in the forehead, around the eyes, just to help, people look a little younger or just more rested, prevent aging. We do,
medical grade skincare.
Yes, medical grade skincare is super important to help with that anti-aging and clear the skin. I mean, I used to have horrible acne. And so that's where my passion with aesthetics really got into it. I was on Accutane. I was on every medication known to man. And that's where I really got into like the PA world, because I was like, I need to help people, because this is like debilitating when your face, I was like broken out. I didn't like it. So that's where my passion came into it, was skincare. And so we try to get every patient on a good skincare regimen. I'm trying to think what else.
And then we have the salt facial.
Oh, salt facial.
People love the salt facial. And that it's kind of back to like the whole natural thing we try and do. Our esthetician, Sarah, does it, and it exfoliates your skin with organic sea salt. So that's really great, because sea salt is like naturally anti-inflammatory. It helps kill bacteria, and it also is a humectant. So it has so many amazing benefits. That's why everyone's always like, oh my gosh, my skin feels amazing at the beach. And we can do that for you. And then it also uses like aesthetic ultrasound, which helps like penetrate the serum really well. And then it also uses LED light therapy. So we love red light therapy here. We have a full body one, but this machine also has just like blue light, amber light, and red light. So just for like your face. So that's amazing for like collagen stimulation, killing bacteria, all of that. And then like the Sage
signature. That's just our relaxing facial. Sarah does a great job at like for any acne, dermaplaning, just
some lymphatic drainage massage. So
that was a really big word you just said there. That was what I like to call a $2 word there.
There we
go. So something I do want to ask you about is, and I've been curious about it for a while more, just because I see a lot of people use it, and I don't know about it. But what's kind of the, for lack of better words, what's the deal with red light therapy? Like, what is it? How does it work? Is there any, like, I'm assuming there is, but is there any actual like benefit to it? Like what's going on when you're doing red light therapy?
So our body has like different responses to light. So like, have you heard like computers, your phone, it's all like blue light?
Yes, I've heard that a lot. Yes.
Right. Yeah. So that's the bad light, where red light is great because it actually helps stimulate your mitochondria. So your mitochondria, back to basic biology,
which is the powerhouse of the cell.
There you go. Okay, you must have passed biology.
I feel like everyone remembers that.
I'm like, why? But it makes it easier to explain it. So it helps stimulate that. So that's obviously the powerhouse of the cell. So it's great for cellular like rejuvenation. So like anti-aging, it helps so much with that. It also helps with like any inflammation in the body, collagen stimulation, because it has different like penetration. So like near infrared penetration, different wavelengths. So we have a really good one by Platinum LED, and it goes like really far down with wavelengths. So near infrared. So then it can also help too with just like overall skin too. So that's why we love it. And just overall, just like cellular rejuvenation, because it really stimulates that mitochondria. And it's also great. It almost feels like you're in like a tanning bed. Have you ever been in a tanning bed?
So not with one, not a on one. I have been on one. One of my friends way back in the day, they had one, and I would use it a lot of times like hide and seek, but I never have been in one like while it's going. So no, I have not.
Well, it feels really good, and it also like helps with like mood. So like during the winter when it's so gross out, it's dark, freezing cold, and you're not ever getting like in touch with like the sun. This is actually like proven to help like with mood and can help with that. So it like helps release that like endorphin that you're in the sun. So it's really great for like mood, any like seasonal depression, anything like that. So yeah, that's kind of like red light therapy. We stack it with our pulsed electromagnetic field therapy, which is our other cellular rejuvenation device. So we're all about like cellular rejuvenation here and like the whole longevity stuff. So
it's funny you say these things, and like I am so like, all this is very interesting, and I am so like out of the know that you all could have before this have been like, we're gonna just tell him these things, and we're just gonna see if he actually knows. And I'm just gonna be like, wow, that's so cool. I did not know.
So smart.
We're gonna put you on
these things.
We'll put you on it after this. Understand?
No, I definitely believe you. It's just like I'm so out of the know with this. It's like, oh, okay, cool, that's great. I didn't know that. I guess I have to believe you.
People are writing after like, who are these people you had on? They're lying.
They're making up words.
That's awesome. That's funny. So something I do want to ask about. So in preparation for this, I was kind of, looking into what it is that you all do and some of your background. And something you had mentioned, it was some kind of machine. Is that correct? So this machine, what is it called again? The
BBL?
Yes.
The Cyton BBL or MJewel?
Yes. So, from what I read online somewhere, this machine apparently has like it's a pretty big deal. Like, I guess, for lack of better words, from what I read online. There was some, I forget if it was, there was different bios about you all online, but there was one of you all had like, I guess I'll say that had studied under a guy. Like, there was this guy that he's considered like the godfather of this or whatever.
Yes.
Is this making any sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, Dr. Bitter,
That's what I was looking for.
He's the godfather of light. He helped develop the photo facial, and he's our chief medical officer. And so I was able to train under him several times in Los Gatos, California. He's come out here, and he's just helped me learn the BVL and come up with protocols that you can only get here at Sage or at Los Gatos, California, at his office.
Yeah. That's cool. Oh, hello. That's cool. That's really awesome. And something you just mentioned, I want to ask. So, correct me if I'm wrong. You all are from California, is that correct? Okay. Because I was looking at this, I was like, I think that's what it said where they're from.
Yes.
So you're in Tennessee now. What are your first off? How long have y'all been out here?
I'm on my 4th year here.
4th year. How long have you been out
I'm
here?
like 2nd year.
Okay. How is the word y'all a part of your vocabulary now, or is that
for
still
sure.
okay? Good.
Yeah.
Okay. I realized, I was like, I should ask them if that is.
Yeah.
But what are your, you've obviously lived in California. What are your thoughts now that you're in the kind of Chattanooga area? Have you been in this area the whole time you've been down here?
Yeah.
Okay. So what do you think so far?
I mean, I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, obviously you may like it to some degree.
Yeah, right. We kind of planted roots here.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so different in like the best way possible.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it just, the community, it's like a big city, but also feels like a small city.
Mhm.
And the community's been so great, especially like starting Sage, just like all the love we've gotten. Everyone is so sweet.
Oh, yeah.
Southern hospitality is so real. I mean, everywhere you go, people are wanting to talk to you and like just know everything about you. And
yeah.
it's so great. And
We love like the values. I don't know. I just love that like we can talk about like God and just I don't know. It's just such a different experience out here, but we really love it.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Well,
It's a slower pace of life, like everyone says, but that's like a good thing.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. I don't know necessarily what the size of the city you all lived in before you came here, but so I'm not from Chattanooga. I'm from about an hour up the road. But I've been living down here for almost 5 or 6 years now. I forget.
Okay.
I went to school down here, and the town I grew up in, I kid you not, I can look it up. It has like 1,000 people on a good day. Like it's a teeny tiny little town. Like
Wow.
so, it's called Inglewood, and
Okay,
if you haven't heard it, like
The Mennonites live there, right?
Yes, you are correct. Yes, we have a pretty strong Mennonite and Amish population there.
Oh, wow.
They make some great bread, by the way. I don't know if you're ever in contact with them and they're selling bread, go for it. But it's funny. Like I know a lot of people. I work with a guy, and he's from the Dallas area, and he like lives in downtown Dallas, huge city, obviously, and he'll come to Chattanooga and he'll be like, yeah, I'm just like this real small town. Like I'm seeing people and I'm like, dude, this is like a huge city for me. Like I'm used to there being like 2 people around me in like a 10-mile radius. Like this is a huge city.
Chattanooga's huge.
Yeah. And I'll hear people all the time be like, yeah, I'm from this like little small town, like in the South. It's called Chattanooga. Have you ever heard of it? I'm like, no, this is not a small town. Like this is a city. It has a downtown area. I have a stoplight in my hometown. That's all we have. So
I mean, I feel like living here for just like the 4 years, it's like I just went up to Nashville 2 weeks ago, and I'm like, oh my God, Nashville is huge.
I know. Yeah.
And like, I'm like, oh my gosh, now, Chattanooga feels big to me now.
Yeah.
So I could totally see what you're saying. Cause like,
But I also think it's a perfect mix where it's
Oh, yeah.
still like we can come back to McDonald and feel like we're in a small town,
Yeah.
or we can like go to the city in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
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 It's funny. I towards the end of last year, one of my friends was getting married, and we went on a bachelor's trip for him. We went out to Nashville, and I had been there a couple times, but I'd never really spent much time in the downtown area.
Yeah.
And it was funny. We got there, and we were going somewhere, and I was like, yeah, this is a big city. Like this. I mean, Chattanooga to my standard is a pretty big city. I was like, man, this is a big
And it's
city.
growing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Everyone's finding out about Chattanooga.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
a little hidden gem.
There's a lot of it is overflow from Nashville. Like I know Nashville's been obviously growing a lot in the recent years, but a lot of that's just like, oh, I want to live in Tennessee, but I don't really want to go to Nashville. I'll just go to this little city down here right next to it. So that's funny.
Yeah, it's definitely a little hidden gem.
Yeah.
And, I mean, we love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, my entire family moved here.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
awesome. They must like it as well.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. We're all in like, do you know where McDonald is? I mean, it just past Oodawall right here.
Yes, I was about to say. So that's the thing. I've been here for 4 or 5 years, but I've lived pretty much in the city the whole time. Like I went to UTC and I still live in the city. So like I know Ooltewah and I know Red Bank, but like aside from that, I'm just kind of like, I don't really know where all the other places are because I don't really have much reason to come out here. So I think I do, yes. But if you ask me to get there, I don't know how confident I would be in getting there on my own, you know?
Yeah. I mean, it's just like kind of like 15 minutes down the street, but I mean, that's where we all live.
Yeah.
And I feel like everyone's always so interested in our story because so basically Lauran is the first of the group to like come out here from California. We all live, like we all knew each other out in California.
Yeah.
And we were all in the same area. And Lauran went first, and then it was just like trickling of people. There's like 40 of us now from the same spot in California. We all just came here.
Yeah.
Now my family's coming.
You were like you were the tipping point. You were the in a good way, the straw that broke the camel's back. You know,
I mean, everyone I feel like knew there was like more out there and like more to like more country and more land and stuff like that. But I just had to be the crazy one to like just do it.
But everyone's always like, oh my gosh, there's like 40 or 50 of you out here. And we're like,
I'm like, I barely have any family left in California. So they're definitely all Tennesseans now.
That's funny. That's funny. You know, it's really funny. I have some friends that I made a lot of friends in school, and for whatever reason, there's a lot of the people that I met in UTC, a lot of them came from the Nashville area. Like there weren't a ton of it was a lot of people from outside of Chattanooga that came to school here. And I'd taken, just for fun one day, I was like, hey, do y'all want to come back home and just see my family and like eat dinner with them one time? And they're like, yeah, sure. And like they had never been to like, again, they had been to the small town of Chattanooga, but they had never been to like, there are cows by the road, you know, small town, like very, very small town. And I brought them back and they were like, so when do we get to your house? Like we've been driving on this road for like 15 minutes and I've just seen trees and fences and dogs. And I'm like, we'll get there eventually. It's just,
we'll pass a couple more covered wagons.
Yes. Yeah. No, that was funny to me. Like, you know, growing up, I mean, I kid you not, my high school football field, like shared land with a farm. Like you could see the cows like behind it, whenever you're out. Like it's a very small town. And so like growing up, I was like, oh yeah, the Amish, they're just like, right. Like, I said, I worked at a pharmacy. I did deliveries a lot. I would deliver medicines to them. Like they were just like, well, they were just like, you know, people we lived by, whatever. And so I would have people like come home with me sometimes just to hang out, and they'd be like, what are those? What else? Is that them? Is that the? I'm like, yeah, that's.
You're like who else? Those are my friends.
Yeah, I was like, who do you think? Who else would that be? You know, it's just the Amish. Like I live with them, and they're like, oh my gosh, I didn't know they were real. I'm like, yeah, that's them. They make some really good bread. So
I feel like that was my first like experience with the Mennonites, because I was like, oh, they all live in like Pennsylvania, like, you know, like the Amish country. And I remember the first time seeing him, I was like, oh my God, that's the Amish. Like, why are we also like, oh my God, the Amish? You know, like so amazed by it.
That's funny. That's awesome. To kind of change the subject just a little bit. So, you know,
I don't know how we got on that one.
I don't know either, but that's just the beauty of conversation. You know? Something I do want to ask you about is, as I've mentioned many times now, I am certainly not an expert in either of your respective fields, and even more so, like I mentioned in regards to like skincare and things. Like the other day, well, not the other day, I guess I don't remember when it was, but my fiance had asked me like if I do any like, if I have like a skincare routine. I was like, well, I have like a face wash that I use in the shower. And she was like, honestly, that's better than like 99% of like guys your age. So you're doing well. But like aside from that general advice, like I don't really know what should be recommended. So me, as someone who knows very little about what should be, I mean, I know there's a lot of different things you've just described to me. There's many, many, many different things you can do to improve your health and your the health of your skin, especially. But generally, like at home practices, like you can go to the store, get this thing, or you can start doing this today. What are some things that you personally would recommend that people like me that don't really know anything about this space, what would you recommend people do in general? Yeah,
I mean, honestly, my husband's the same way. He just goes and like washes his face in the shower. That's really it. But really just a good face wash and a good sunscreen. We just got this product. It's like a stick. And it's super simple. You just put it on your face.
Yeah.
I don't know if they can't see me doing that, but it's literally a stick. It's super easy for, men, kids.
Yeah.
That's just, sun protection is the best thing you can do, to help with with aging and that process. And then a good wash because you develop all those oils and there's, chemicals and free radicals. We need to get all that stuff off. So, but yeah, just a good wash, a good sunscreen. And then honestly, the best treatment for men in particular, I would say is getting a BBL. The broadband light treatment, light, it's so good for the skin. Dr. Bitter always says that's the best treatment for men, for anti-aging and to just keep the youthfulness of your skin. But you're not doing Botox, you're not doing filler.
Yeah.
You're just preventing the lines and keeping, that just more
even skin.
Even skin tone.
Yeah.
And so just maybe doing a BBL once or twice a year just to keep your skin looking the way it is for years to come. That's, I feel like, the best treatments for men.
Yeah.
In your journey, just a face wash and sunscreen, and then you can come see us for the BBL.
Yeah.
We'd love to treat you.
Yeah. Well, I'll come try it out sometime.
Yeah.
So something I do want to ask you about. So, and I was actually talking to somebody on the show the other day just about this, but I know that there is a lot of I hear a lot of people talk about like the benefits of sunscreen and like obviously from the standpoint of like getting burned when you're at the beach, like obviously you don't want to, I had an unfortunate experience one time where I was at the beach and I applied sunscreen, but I fell asleep while I was outside and didn't have like anything covering me and I was very red to say the least. So obviously like in those situations apply sunscreen, but like for me, is there like, does just any kind of sunscreen go, or is there a specific kind of like daily kind of sunscreen that's recommended? Because in my mind, when I think of sunscreen, I'm thinking like, white nose and like kind of greasy face. Like, is there a specific kind that you would recommend for just like daily use, or is it just kind of anything really goes in that regard?
I mean, I feel like definitely like avoid any of like the super like chemically sunscreen. So like the ones with like avobenzene and like you can look it up, but I always recommend like a mineral based one. Just
physical
something,
sunscreen.
Yeah, a physical mineral based sunscreen.
One with zinc, titanium, and then just a higher SPF.
Yeah.
And just look at the ingredients in it too.
Yeah. Just make sure there's no chemicals and there's been a lot of like weird things linked to sunscreen, like carcinogen wise and stuff like that. So just like read your labels, kind of like food.
Yeah.
I mean, we totally recommend like Skin Better Science. That's our top favorite for a sunscreen. So,
and they have different options for like male and female. Like men love like the stick because it's super easy, but then like for women, that like comes tinted and it matches your skin tone. So women can use that like as a foundation. So that's like a good option too for like everyday wear.
Yeah. Something I do want to ask, and I think you may have briefly alluded to it in the beginning. So how did you all get interested in this? Because like I think a lot of people's when they get interested in like health and wellness or skincare or whatever, like any field in health and wellness, like it's always an interesting way towards it. I mentioned a little bit for me, like growing up, I just like I love food. Like I still do this day. Like I'm a sucker for food. Like there's not many foods that I don't agree with, and all of them agree with me. So like for me growing up, it was finding the right ones. Like that was my journey is understanding that there's some that I don't need to rely on and some that I should. So for your individual stories, like how did you come to do what you do and be interested in what you're currently doing?
Do you want me to go first?
Yeah.
Okay. So for me, like I said, I had horrible acne my entire teenage years. And so I was visiting the dermatologist all the time. And that's where I found out that what a PA was. And that's kind of what got me down that path of like going to PA school and really wanting to make a difference in skin for people because that was my challenge growing up. And then I did lose my mom 4 years ago to colon cancer. And so that's really where I started to change like my health and really redirect. And I was like, okay, I need to get this under control because that was really, traumatizing.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Go through that and see like the person I love the most go through so much pain.
Yeah.
And so that's where I really like changed my life.
Yeah. Well, well, thank you for sharing. I'm sorry to hear that. But definitely like, I think that I know for me specifically, and I know a lot of people, like it seems to be, for many people, their journey towards living a healthier life, whether they start this journey early, late, whatever, a lot of it seems to stem from experiences we have like in our adolescence. I know that's true for me. And like, it seems like maybe for you, like, not necessarily like in your adolescence, but like, experiences you've had in the past and kind of in your younger age, like, that is what fueled you to want to do what you're doing today. And I think that's interesting because, those experiences, even though they're a brief period of our life, a lot of times they stick with us for a long time, and they kind of turn us into the person that we are, Yeah. For you, what specifically for you was kind of the driving force for you doing what it is that you do today?
Yeah, I mean, speaking of adolescence, I mean, when I was a kid, I was like a chunky kid.
I was too. So
and all I would eat was like popcorn chicken. Like I was the worst eater, the pickiest eater. And we were just talking about that the other day with my parents, like how I am now compared to how I was as like a kid is just insane. But I was always kind of chunky. So I feel like once I graduated like high school, I kind of started getting into like exercising, changing like food, stuff like that, into like fitness type stuff. And, I was going to school and like I was getting like my business degree. And then, I was never really sure. And then I actually thought about this the other day, but you told me to do nutrition. Do you remember that? Yeah. Or like I was thinking about it and you were telling me like how Cal Baptist had a program and like I should do it. And
that's so weird.
Yeah. So then I like transferred colleges and I started the nutrition program there. And while I was in school, I was obviously into nutrition because I was getting my degree for that. But my grandpa died from colon cancer, and then, which is directly linked to diet. And then Mackenzie's mom died from colon cancer. So there's just like a lot of passion behind like what we do. And so I really got into nutrition with that. We kind of like when your mom was, going through chemo and stuff, I remember we were like cooking healthy, like starting to learn stuff like that. And then I started like experiencing some like autoimmune issues myself. And, like modern medicine, which just wasn't helping me. And it was pretty miserable at a certain point. So then I was kind of helpless and I kind of started going to like a naturopathic doctor and really got involved with that and then started working there. And then I just really learned how like food could truly be medicine and it completely helped heal me and everything I was struggling with. And just like my life did a whole 180 once like I started eating better, feeling better, not having like certain symptoms. And then obviously like I started teaching my entire family and friends and, like just the whole passion behind it just kind of, is there. So that's kind of what led to this whole entire thing. So, Mackenzie started eating healthier. She has some family members that are also involved and, we're all just super into health. So that's kind of how like Sage started is because we wanted to bring those worlds together.
Yeah.
So.
And I think it's really cool that it seems like obviously, you don't get into an industry like this if you don't want to help people, but it seems like in different ways for the both of you, like this all stemmed from, it's very personal for you. Like it's not only just yourselves, but it's the people like close to you. It's your family members. Like you want to legitimately make a difference in their lives and not just like in the sense of like something that's fleeting, but you want to show them ways that they can legitimately make a difference in their lives that is long lasting. I think that's really cool because, you mentioned it earlier, like there's lots of money to be made in the health and wellness industry. Like everybody, like who doesn't want to be healthier? Like even if you're a quote unquote healthy individual, like there's always room for improvement. Who doesn't want to live a healthy life? But kind of finding people that actually want to help people and not just make a quick buck, like that's in the day and age we live in, like that's not very common. Or there's a lot of people that will just kind of take your money and run oftentimes.
Yeah. And it's just like it's exciting to see because like now knowing what I know now, so many like health issues people struggle with, like from the outside, I'm like, oh my gosh, if you ate this or changed this or maybe cut this out of your diet, like you could see like relief from that.
Yeah.
So just like that gets me excited knowing that like I could potentially help someone just from like changing something so simple as eating.
Yeah.
Like they're not going to have to be on a certain medication the rest of their life. Like just literally changing their food could change so much for them.
Yeah.
So that's really rewarding for us for sure.
I think like all of us out here, like we've all gotten off our medications that we were on in California.
Yeah.
And it's crazy that like just food has healed.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. from the standpoint of kind of continue with this, I think one area of well-being, health that it seems like there is no limit to the amount of options you have is the world of like supplements and supplementation. You can go into any GNC and it's just like walls of white bottles with just like this thing, that thing, this thing, that thing. And I walk in like every now and then I'll go in there, I'll be like, what are like, do any of these things actually like do anything, you know?
Yeah.
And it, like, you can look into it. I think it's kind of interesting. Like I'm speaking a little bit, like I'm not an expert in this, but from what I understand, like a lot of supplements are not regulated by the FDA the way that like say typical foods are. Right. And so there can be, you know, quote unquote supplements that you can get that they're just kind of fluff. Now, not all of them, but like some of them can fall into that category. And so I say all this to say, I wanted to talk, you know, ask you all from the standpoint of supplements, what for you are like your red light, not red light therapy, but like red light, no, stop, don't do it. And like green light, yes, those are supplements I would recommend taking for that from your all's experiences.
Yeah. I mean, definitely. I mean, we carry 2 brands here of supplements and we have just good experience with them. I take them myself. I've taken them for years. I know like the sourcing of them. I know the ingredients. And that's what's so important about like taking supplements is knowing the sourcing and the ingredients, because there's so many fillers, artificial things, and you're not really ever sure what you're putting in your body unless you know the sourcing and the company and know that you can trust them. So I really tell everyone, like, if you're taking stuff from like Target, CVS, you know, just something random like that, just stop, because it can actually do more harm than good. When you're putting like a synthetic vitamin in your body doesn't know what to do with it. So you know, it's making it more challenging because your body's then trying to figure out like, what the heck is this? Because it's like a foreign invader almost, you know? Yeah. So we have standard process, which are whole food supplements. So literally it's just food in their supplements. So your body absolutely knows what to do with food. That's what we're meant to do. So standard process, they have great farming regenerative practices. Their soil's great. So obviously, I could go into more and more about soil issues and the microbiome of the soil and how it's so depleted now. But that's one reason why I do believe in supplements, because we do need to bridge that gap that we're not getting from our food supply anymore. Yeah. So I love standard process. I know what they're all about. Those are great supplements. You can turn that over and it might be gross to some people, but you can see like beef organs, you know, different things like that in them. Yeah. And that's literally what's nourishing you. Wow. So it's pretty crazy. And then we also carry Symbiotica, which I love myself too. Yeah. They have more like liquid liposomal, which means like it passes the blood-brain barrier. So it's really optimal and quick delivery of certain things. So I love their magnesium, a certain couple of other things. It's just a little different of an option, but they're also a great company with great practices, great sourcing, and great ingredients. Yeah. So really, just my advice would be to like know what supplements you're taking, know the company, and the sourcing is for sure optimal. Yeah. Yeah.
And from the standpoint of like, you know, because there are no shortage of supplements you can take. For you, like you both individually, what are some, assuming they're good and like, you know, they're sourced from a good place, what are like, if you can only pick 3 kind of daily supplements you would take, what would you personally recommend?
Oh, don't do this to
me. I know that there's many, but like what are your like, these are the 3 that I'm gonna stick with if I only have 3 options for you personally, and then I want to hear from you as well.
Yeah, I mean, it would for sure be a vitamin D.
Yeah. That's gotten a lot of talk. I also take a vitamin D supplement. That's been like, especially since, I guess I'll loosely say start of the pandemic, sometime mid 2020. Like I feel like that's been a very like, it's been talked about a lot, like the benefits of vitamin D, you know, sorry to interrupt you, but I feel like that's been talked about a lot, is just the benefits of vitamin D. And I never really knew about that.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's so important for like immune and bone health. And just, it helps so much that people don't realize. So vitamin D for sure. Oh my gosh, this is so hard. I think magnesium, because that just helps regulate your central nervous system. Yeah. And we are all so stressed out. We live in such a stressful world. And we have like, I mean, for me, I was having some sleep issues and, you know, you can't shut down at night. Your brain's just running and that's preventing you from getting a good night's sleep. So magnesium has helped so much with just being able to like chill out and get that really good night's sleep, because sleep is so important. So definitely magnesium. And then Oh, it's so hard. I mean, can I say 2 more?
Yeah,
Maybe
I
4,
will. Yes, I'll be loose. I'll give you 2 more.
And then like some sort of fish oil.
Yeah.
I take cod liver oil. That goes back like to the early 1900s. When I told my grandma she needed to start taking it, she's like, wait, that's the stuff they used to feed me on a spoon back in like elementary school. I guess all grandmas know about it. It's crazy, but that's just a typical like fish oil. So it has like the EPA, DHA. It's great for brain and overall just like whole body inflammatory response. So that's a great one. And then just some sort of like trace mineral that has all those minerals we need. You know, like zinc, magnesium, iron, all that stuff. So those are kind of like my top 4. I mean, I could go on and on about supplements.
Yeah.
I know.
But yeah, those are my top 4.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd say the total same. Like that's literally what we're on.
Yeah.
I mean, we have actually quite a few more,
Yeah.
but those are our favorite.
Yeah, for sure.
I think something that's interesting too that I've kind of come to recently appreciate, because I think it can be very daunting. Like if you're like me and you're not an expert, you go into like any kind of health and wellness store, it's like, man, should I just get one of everything? Like they must be good. Like what do I need to do? But kind of bringing it all back home a little bit, like if you are following a diet that is largely or in somewhat based in whole foods, whether you're, getting more vegetables in your diet or whatever, from what I understand, a lot of your kind of, your vitamin and mineral needs will be taken care of. Like the reason why you don't have to take every supplement on the wall is because if you're eating a diet that allows you to uphold those nutritional needs, you don't have to worry about taking every single supplement because you're already kind of getting that through your food. And I just think it's really interesting. Like I think a lot of times we tend to forget supplements, in my view, are meant to fill in gaps where it's hard to get that naturally. It's not meant to be, that's not your diet. Like your diet isn't a bunch of, white labeled pills you're just taking all day.
Right. Yeah.
That's meant to fill in some gaps that you can't really fill in with your diet. And I think that's a good kind of principle to understand, at least in my opinion.
And I think you explained to me one time how like the Indians back in the old days, like if they got a buffalo, they weren't just eating the meat, like the rib meat. They were eating the liver. They were eating every part of it. They were going down to the bones and then making bone broth.
Yeah.
Like that's what we are missing from our diet. We're not eating liver on the daily. Like, so things like that.
Yeah, it's definitely like, I mean, unless you're like someone that can eat liver and all of that, just kind of like the traditional foods, which I mean, I've tried eating it. I mean, I don't love it, but I mean, like I got like Force of Nature meats. They have like an ancestral blend and it's like ground beef with ground heart and liver and all of that in it. And it actually hides it pretty well. So I love that to like add it to my diet.
Yeah.
But I mean, definitely just like how we eat now, like versus how we ate like 100 years ago is so different. So I feel like, supplements can also help with that, like how we've changed our taste buds too.
Exactly. No, I definitely agree. Well, believe it or not, we are approaching 1 hour.
Wow.
I know.
That's crazy.
So before we kind of begin to wrap things up here, I want to just first off say thank you to both of you for allowing me to, I know all of you listening can't see this, but they have welcomed me into their wonderful office, which I will say is very, very nice. So thank you very much for allowing me to come in here and chat with you all. Before we finish, I want to kind of finish the show off with a little bit of a tradition with the show. I like to finish each episode off with a little bit of a segment at the end, a fun segment at the end, unrelated to everything we've been talking about, that I like to call 15 quick questions. So I want to, this will be interesting because like I said, normally it's just me and someone else. I'm going to just get in their thoughts and see what they say. But I get to kind of have 2 different opinions now. So I want to get your all's thoughts. These are this or that questions. So it'll be A or B, hot or cold, something like that.
Oh, okay.
And just want to hear your thoughts off the top of your head. So that sound good?
Yeah.
All right. This is, if I can get it pulled up, this is 15 quick questions. Here we go. Question number 1, beach vacation or mountain vacation?
Beach.
I was curious. I was like, well, okay. What part of California? I was
California
about to say, are y'all like coast California, or are you like I was about to say, I don't know what part of California they're from.
She was,
I was like Orange County.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was about to say that may influence your decision, but I was like,
Beautiful.
But I prefer the Florida beaches.
Yeah, we
way
love
more.
Rosemary.
Yeah, Rosemary, like 30A, Rosemary Beach. Oh my gosh,
That's
way
awesome.
better than California.
I love it. All right. Hot coffee or iced coffee, or you can substitute whatever other hot or iced drink you prefer.
Hot.
You like hot? I'm a big hot coffee person.
Good hot coffee
Yes.
in the morning.
Yes. All right. Which do you prefer? Summer, fall, winter, or spring?
Summer.
Big summer.
Yeah, summer or spring.
Summer on the lake.
I love summer. I'm a huge fall and winter fan. Like once it starts getting cold outside and like all the holidays are coming, like that's just
Yeah, that's
it's just-
definitely a mood.
It
That's
is
the vibe.
my like that is like my peak season. Like not that I enjoy spring and summer, but like every year I'm like I can't wait for the leaves to start turning colors.
fall
you know,
is
like,
great.
I feel like
it's
our
great.
peak month though is May. Like
Yeah.
once May hits, we're
Yeah.
like, we're ready.
yeah. May is great. May's a good month. All right. Which do you prefer, sweet or savory food?
Sweet.
Sweet.
But actually, it's kind of moving.
We'll throw all, what we've said, all nutritional
Yeah,
out
right.
the
Yeah,
door. If you're having one meal, sweet or savory food, what do you prefer?
You're like savory.
I love savory. I love like, it sounds so weird, but like a good like steak and
Yeah.
Oh, that
potatoes.
does not
like,
sound weird. Trust
yeah.
me.
I mean, I used to be into the delicacies.
Yeah.
I always needed a little sweet, but now my taste buds have changed.
Yeah.
So I'm
Yeah.
like, maybe savory. I don't know.
Yeah. Me and my fiance have been talking about. I'm a big fan of Indian food. I don't know if y'all have tried much
yeah.
Indian food, but I've become a big fan of Indian food lately. So I would definitely find myself in the savory.
Yeah.
camp.
for sure.
Ooh.
All right. So next question: are Crocs fashionable? Yes or no? This is always a
No.
divisive one.
Oh, I'm sorry.
not even like around the house. Just like it's just you for the
Oh,
day. like
that's fine.
Yeah, I mean,
like-
do whatever you
Yeah.
want to do.
but probably
Yeah.
probably not out in public.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't wear them out in
No.
public, but in the house, anything
Yeah,
goes.
Yeah.
that's true.
Yeah.
I had a pair of Crocs. I had a Crocs backpack back in the day, if you can believe it.
Oh
I had the
my
little
gosh.
things. It was
the little button.
it was
thingies?
it was a crossbody backpack, and it was just decked out in little butt. I thought I was
That
the
is
coolest person in the world.
I
hilarious.
apologize
Yeah.
for what I just said.
No, it's both awesome and kind of like disgusting to look at the same time. It's like I can't believe I wore
You
this,
should
but I'm
post
all
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
please.
yeah.
Throw back.
I'll go home every now and then and be like, I can't believe I wore this, but at the same time, I'm so glad that I did. Like
Yeah.
it was just the craziest thing.
Yeah.
So, all right.
love that.
In your opinion, pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
No.
I love pineapple, but I'm a big I love pineapple on pizza. That's like
So
that's my
good.
go-to. I love it.
Yeah. And
Love it.
with ranch and jalapenos. That's my thing.
Yes. ranch with pizza is good.
I would not share pizza.
Yeah, I know.
What's your pizza preferred if you're getting one?
I maybe just like a veggie with some pepperoni.
Veggie pizzas are
like
good.
a veggie pepperoni.
Yeah.
That's
Mhm.
like my type of thing.
That's a good
From
that's a good pizza.
Goodfellas.
yeah,
Yes.
from Goodfellas.
Yeah. All right. Which do you prefer, sunrise or sunset?
Ooh,
Sunset.
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 Yeah.
Nice. I like that. All right. Which do you prefer, guacamole or salsa?
Oh,
Salsa.
no. Shoot.
She knows her answer.
Yeah.
This is a battle. This is
If it's from Bar Taco, the salsa.
depending on where it's from.
Yeah, but depending on where it's
Yeah,
from.
definitely.
Oh, shoot. Yeah.
All
I
right.
think salsa.
So you're definitely going. You're going
I'm
salsa.
gonna go with
All right,
that.
we're going salsa. All right. Which do you prefer, card game or board game?
Oh,
Card game.
Card game.
board game, Monopoly.
I-
It's my
Oh,
favorite.
shoot.
I love.
we-
I'm a big board game.
We
Yes.
had like
You're
a.
speaking my language now.
Yeah.
We literally went through like a phase where we played Monopoly like
Every weekend.
every weekend.
It's great. It's wonderful.
It's
I love it.
addicting.
I will go home for like the holidays and I'll be like, who wants to play Monopoly? And everybody's like, none of
Oh,
us.
yeah.
We don't want to play.
come-
and it
play with
takes
us.
Yeah.
like hours. We'd be there like,
We'll be like, it's 1 a.m.
Yeah.
and we've been fighting over
Yeah.
this stuff.
No,
Like
I had
cash.
this space.
Yeah.
yeah, this is our house or whatever.
Yeah, we'll all have to play Monopoly.
So
Yeah.
That's funny. All right. Which do you prefer, crunchy peanut butter or smooth peanut butter?
smooth.
Crunchy.
I'm a big crunchy fan. I've always been a crunchy fan
Ooh.
for whatever
Love
reason.
the crunch.
All right. Last 5 questions here. Would you rather read the book or see the movie?
Read the book.
Really? Book fan? Nice.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Oh, that's hard. I feel like books are always better.
Yeah.
Movies always disappoint. Like,
Yeah.
especially if you've read the book and then
Yeah.
it's a movie, you're like, this ain't the same.
That's one thing that I've never read enough to where I've been in the movies and been like, oh, I've already read this one
Yeah.
first. Like I always like find out about it after the fact, you know?
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
it's-
that kind of sucks.
yeah. That's funny. All right. Let's see. Who, in your opinion, would win in a dance battle, The Rock or Kevin Hart? We got a very large man and a very small man in this,
I
in
like
this
Kevin
competition.
Hart.
Yeah, Kevin Hart.
You think
Yeah.
Kevin Hart?
Mhm.
I generally think he would, but I've had some people be like, no, it would be The Rock. Like he
Really?
definitely would.
He's just so big.
He's a
Yeah.
huge guy.
It wouldn't
He's-
look
yeah,
right.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Which decade do you prefer? 70s, 80s, or 90s?
90s.
90s? Big
yeah,
90s?
90s.
90s,
Yeah.
nice. Of the final kind of 4 major holidays in the year, which do you prefer? Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, or New Year's?
Christmas.
I'm a
yeah.
big Christmas fan.
Yeah.
I've said it many times. I'll start listening to Christmas in like August, or Christmas music,
Well,
like
just
in
the
August.
feeling you get
Yeah.
when it leads up to Christmas, the Christmas music,
Yeah.
the cookies. It
Oh,
just
Nothing
I love it.
compares.
No.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I love it. All right. And then final question. I ask everybody this. I always kind of mix it up with the first 14 questions, but I always ask everybody this last question. And I want to hear your kind of line of thinking with it as well. Would you rather fight 100 duck-sized horses or one horse-sized duck? And you can think about it for a second, but you got two options. You got a bunch of really, really, really small horses, and they're coming at you, or one really, really, really big duck. Which would you prefer? In which situation would you prefer?
Small horses.
I
You
just-
small horses?
If
Yeah.
I just kick them.
Yeah, just kick them out of the way.
That's your game plan.
Yeah.
I heard one person that'd be like, "I'll just take the small horse and I'll just like jump on a table or something." I'm like, that's
That makes
that's
sense.
not a bad idea.
Yeah,
I was
we're
gonna
with the
kick 'em.
kicking, but yeah,
Yeah.
small horses
Yeah,
for sure.
and we love horses. But,
Yeah.
This is obviously hypothetical.
Yeah.
Hypothetically speaking,
Yeah.
we gotta get them
yes.
out of here.
Yeah.
Yes. I love it. That's funny. All right. Well, that is everything I have for you today. So before we finish up, I know that you all just opened your store. So I will put a link I know you have a website. I believe you have a website. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll put that link down in the description. So if you're listening and want to check them out, then definitely head down there. Do y'all have any other links or anything for socials or any other ways people can find out
Yeah.
about anything anybody should know about?
Yeah.
You can follow us on Sage Better with Us, our Instagram, TikTok,
And Facebook.
Facebook.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Sage Better
Just
with
those
Us.
ones. Yeah. Sage Better with Us. And yeah, the website. Sage Better with Us too.
Cool. Well, I will make sure that is all down there. So if you're listening and want to check them out, then head down to the description, find that down there. And like I said, they have a great facility, so definitely come check them out. I'll put some way like for people to come obviously find you as well down in the description. So if you're listening and want to check them out, then I highly recommend doing so. But thank you all for coming on the show today. It's been a
This was
pleasure.
so
That was so
fun.
fun.
Yeah, it's been great. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And to everybody listening, thank you as always for tuning in. I hope you all enjoyed today's episode. Like I said, if you'd like to check out any of the links or anything mentioned, that will be down in the description. So head down there to check that out. If you'd like to follow me, the podcast, or get in contact with me, that will also be in the description. As always, thank you for listening to and tuning into the show, and I will catch you all on another episode of the podcast. Bye, everybody. Thanks for tuning into this episode of the podcast. As one final reminder, if you'd like to support the show, then don't forget to rate and review the show wherever you get your podcast, or share it with a friend. If you'd like to check out any links that were mentioned during the show, or follow the show or myself on social media, then feel free to head to the description of today's episode to find these links. As always, thank you again for checking out today's episode, and I really hope you enjoyed it. I will catch you all on the next episode of the podcast. See ya!